Good morning, boys and girls. This is your morning ride. It's Monday morning. Getting off to a little late of a start. I had a very eventful evening, which it wasn't eventful, but it not being eventful, it was eventful, which I'll get into that in a few minutes. So, I am Coach Mel. I'm a certified life empowerment coach, and I specialize in goal setting and achievement. I like to focus on the recovery community. Now, when I say recovery, I'm pretty much referring to the recovery from addiction, substances. But there's lifestyle situations that you can be in a position that you need to recover from. So yeah, easily you can fall into that category. Also, the people who just going through struggles and need an extra bit of support and to help them step up and get out motivated. I had to turn my air conditioner on a little bit. Okay. I'm headed into work. I had a different night yesterday. I had an amazing weekend. The weekend was great. Didn't have to work Friday, so I got to be able to handle some business that I still got to follow up on. But it's okay. It was some things I got to take care of. I just passed my mother. And then Saturday was another good day. Just kind of did whatever we wanted to do. And then Sunday. Well, Sunday, great start. Got everything started for the day. Went on and went and got the little stuff we needed to go out and about to do done early. And then when we get back, Richard said, "How'd you get a flat tire?" Okay, I haven't driven my car since Saturday morning when I got back from my dad's house. And I didn't remember it being flat then. But it wasn't. And we didn't notice it flat when we got in Saturday afternoon after when me and him went somewhere and ran around, did some things. So I was like, I don't know. So we get the little air compressor thing that plugs into your cigarette lighter. We got that. Started pumping up the tire. It started pumping it up okay. Then it just wasn't pumping. So he was going to take the tire off. One of the lug nuts is kind of stripped to the point on the outside that our old shallow lug bridge wouldn't really get a grip on it. All right, so I called AAA. This Sunday, there's nothing around here open. So I called AAA at 3:30. They were supposed to be there in an hour. So I called them back at 4:50. Oh, and the lady called and da-da-da-da-da. This and this happened. So sorry. It's going to be about an hour, but they'll be there in about an hour. All right. So at going on 6 o'clock, talked to another lady. Oh, you know what? They're going to be there within 30 minutes. They got done with what they were doing. Be there within 30 minutes. An hour later, I called again. Oh, they'll be there. Okay, so that was the last time. Then the person called. I was trying to be nice and remember that, things happen. Stuff happens. He said, "This is blah, blah from blah, blah towing. Just want to let you know that I'm headed your way." I said, "Okay. And when will you be here?" About 20 minutes. Well, about 30 minutes. I'm thinking, man, here we go again. But then he got there. We finally got to get the tire taken off and then got to a 24-hour tire place that's really like 20 minutes from my house. But it took like 45 because, I'm on a spare. I didn't want to drive fast at all. So I was going really slow. It probably didn't take 45 minutes. It just seemed like that. We get there, and the guy takes the tire out of the bag, and we look at it, and the tire is completely split on the inside. The tread is fine, but right on the inside of the tread, it's just a tear all the way around. That was crazy. So Richard, thankfully, started to check the other tires, and the other front tire tread was fine, split all the way around on the inside. So we ended up getting two new tires, two used tires, and it's a one man doing this job, so it took a little bit longer than we wanted to. We got home about midnight. I usually have my alarm set for about 4 a.m. I don't get up at 4 a.m., but I have my alarm set about 4 a.m. And I get up somewhere around 5, typically, average. I didn't set my alarm for 4 a.m. last night. This is for this morning. I set it for about 6:15 or 6:30. I usually like to leave about 6:30. I went ahead and let the girl I'm working with know that I'm going to be there, but I'll be running a little bit late. And she's fine with that because she knows she doesn't really need me earlier in the day. It's mainly in the afternoon. So that was okay. So we're headed on. Get this. While we're just standing out there at the 24-hour tire place, the man doing the tires, me and Richard just standing there, this truck, it's in a small town. And most of y'all know how the little squares go in the small town. There's the main square, and then there's just like these little roads out the side of it, and some on this side of it, and some on that side of it. Well, there was somebody about another road up from the crossroad that was right there where we were. And it was yelled these obscenities, these racial obscenities, and then you hear a bottle break as they speed across the road. Okay, so now my guess is they probably wouldn't have said any of that. I mean, had they really been sincere about being so violent and things like that, then why did they turn and come that way? For one, glad they didn't, because we didn't want that. They didn't want that. But so we had that happen, and then my thought is, okay, so y'all guys, listen, it's some people say don't tell people how good it is because somebody's gonna want to try to steal it from you. Ladies and gentlemen, the man in my life is amazing. All right. Okay, so the same man who was gonna just take my car into an area, he's not from this area, would have just tried to feel his way around on a donut to get my stuff taken care of, not really know where he was going or anything, was going to do that so I could get some sleep because I had to get up and go to work the next morning. He's not getting out till a little bit later to do the things he needs to do. Okay, the one that gets up in the morning, and when I made myself something to eat the other morning, he said, you're not trying to push me out of doing it for you, are you? And it's not because I expect it, not because he feels like he has to do it, but because he likes to do things to make me happy. And I like to do things to make him happy, to take care of things he like, fixing him something to eat, or just little things. We look out for each other. This same man who is an amazing person because the color of the skin is being yelled at. Obscenities being yelled at him because the color of his skin. They don't know him. They don't know me. Now, the man that was working on the tires, he's Nigerian. So maybe they didn't even notice Richard there, but saw him out there working and yelled it towards him. But regardless, those were yelled because the color of somebody's skin. And I see some white people that I see some white people, and not all white people, but I see some white people that are saying, you know what, I grew up with it tough. I grew up, I was poor. I was called poor white trash. You weren't called poor white trash because you were white. You were called poor white trash because you were probably poor. And people considered you as a person, as an individual, trash. Okay. They didn't call all white people poor white trash. So therefore, you were not, it was not racist towards you because somebody called you poor white trash. They were talking about you as an individual, not the whole white race. White race, like that's the thing, really, but the whole white complexion. I'm sorry, but this man who was working there came from another city. His company sent him out there to do 24 hours tire repair and replacement. Very nice guy. Everything. Probably has to deal with a lot of that because he's out in that community every day. And it's not just him. You know, it's and not all people are like that. Not all people in this community up there are like that. Not all white male sounding people are really are that nasty and mean. But there's enough of them to make it really, really difficult. Me, okay, let me say this though. Then on the way back, driving on new tires after having to drive 40 miles per hour, driving a little bit slow, going back to the house. Then we passed by, on the way there, we passed by somebody pulled over. And then on the way back on the same road, we passed by 3 officers just kind of sitting over on the side of the road. Well, just about too long. Then I didn't even see him pull off because I really wasn't paying attention because I wasn't doing anything wrong. We're not doing anything wrong. I just driving. Finally, I got, feeling like the tires were doing pretty good and everything. So I started speeding up a little bit, going closer to the speed limit. And blue lights come on right behind me. Okay, the car that had been tailing me, blue lights right behind me. All right. So I pull over, of course, immediately because, that's just what you do. And like I've always done, is I keep my hands up like this. I don't try to reach for anything like that, not even for my ID or anything like that. I never have. Anytime I got pulled over, I didn't do that. But so I'm sitting there like this. The officer comes up, flashes the light in the car, doesn't ask me for anything except for he says, "You got anything illegal in the car?" I said no. He said, "Okay, I pulled you over because you were going like around 40, but then you kind of sped up and then you were going about 60. Your speed limit was 55, so 60 was fine." I said, "Yeah, I just got my tires changed." Yeah, I have anxiety, and when I try to get words out, sometimes they don't come out. Well, so I stumbled around my words a little bit, and he got my ID, went to the car, came back, asked me where I was headed. I said, home. He said, okay, gave me the license back, and then I left. So that was my eventful evening. Now, when we drove by, I'm not saying these officers were being nosy or looking for somebody. None of that. But they may have been looking for somebody since they were kind of on that road earlier and had somebody pulled over. And then they were back on that road again with 3 officers on that same road. And then after they pulled me over, he turned around and went the opposite direction to get back on the road. Made a U-turn in the middle of the road to go back the way he had come from. Okay. So, and he had followed me 3 or 4 miles before flipping his lights on. So I'm not saying they were looking for somebody, which they may have been. And they may have just been trying to think of reasons to pull people over to try to see if they could find that person. But they could have looked in the car and seen We were not those people. So they could have just looked. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. I feel like when we drove by slowly, because there's 3 officers, 2 of them sticking out in the road, 1 of them to the side, with their lights on, we slowed down and kind of went around them. So I feel like when he saw people looking over at him, because I'm nosy, I was looking. Richard, I don't know if he looked or not. Probably looked a little just to see, but we weren't like staring. They decided to pull us over, regardless of the reason. Regardless. Anyway, so we got pulled over, but we got home. I'm just like, man, I was so glad to get to the house at midnight. I have not been out till midnight. I don't know how long. I haven't been up until midnight, and I don't know how long. I don't even remember if I was up till midnight last New Year's Eve. I don't think I was. I know I wasn't the year before that, and several years before that. But that's just not in me. I can't do it. I can't stay up that late. I mean, it's a mess. But I just think about, because back to the story about the people in the truck going across at a stop and keep going across and throwing the bottle and yelling obscenities and racial slurs. When I think about them, and I think about Richard and this other gentleman that was working, earning a keep, probably living in that place. It's a 24-hour job. Living there, or at least spending some nights there. I think about, never had to be on guard because of the color of my skin. Never. So there was a video I used to watch when I was at a rehab in 2000. That it was a Father Martin video. He's great with the Chalk Talks. It says, always be on guard against the unguarded moment. Okay, so in regards to recovery and things like that, yeah, I've had to be on guard against that, because to keep myself from relapsing. But have to be on guard and completely aware of my surroundings in every situation or surrounding I'm in. Never. Okay, yeah, if I'm walking at night in a dark area, I need to be on guard, but so does everybody. It's not because I'm white, it's because I'm potentially vulnerable in that situation at that time. Okay. Let me think. Some other times I have to be on guard. Okay, yeah, well, I mean, like when I went to the ATM to get the money for the tire, I was hoping he would take card. He didn't take card. He only took cash. So I was hoping he would take, but since he didn't, there was a bank right on the next block. So when I go to get the ATM, yeah, I pulled out some Ace, because there was a lot of people walking around. There was a few people walking around that area. It was dark. It's 11 something at night. Not a bad place to live. Not a bad place to live, but things can happen anywhere. So when you're getting money out of an ATM at night with people walking around, from the little couple people walking around here and there, regardless of where you are, I mean, there's some people that will get the mace out during the day. I had the mace out. I think that's just a protective measure. That's a big deal. No big deal. That's understandable. So have I ever had to be on guard against something that was not understandable and a reason for anyone to be on guard for? No. Have you? Have you ever, as a person, had to be on your P's and Q's, on guard, in a way that others do not. Now, if you're a person of color, you absolutely have. Absolutely. If you're a white person, you probably have. But it's not a definite. So, next time you just want to think, well, you know what? I was I was pulled over one day for being a white person in a predominantly black neighborhood, and she told me the reason that white people are usually in those neighborhoods. I wasn't. I was picking up a friend of mine, and I called that friend while she was on the phone. Confirmed, hey, yes, she's coming to pick me and my girlfriend up because our car broke down. Okay, so I shouldn't have had to do that, but I did, and I mean, that's fine. I don't care. So I'll call. I have nothing to hide. But for that officer, he didn't come up to the car and he didn't say, "Hey, ma'am, you doing all right tonight?" Or he didn't, ask me, let me know why he was pulling me over before he asked if there was anything illegal in the car. But that was his first question, and there wasn't. But if there was, I probably would not have told him. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. But anyway, there wasn't, so it was fun. I just, oh, I'm so sorry. Well, I'm sorry, but it really, really, really gets to me when people don't take care of their animals and you see them walking around the yard from time to time, and then you see them dead in the road. I'm so sorry. That just, woo. Okay, so if y'all want to really get to me, it's people who abuse people and animals. Mistreat them in any way. Like just let them roam around and end up dead in the middle of the road. Sorry, I felt that. It felt like it punched me in my gut. And I had to look back real quick because I was thinking, is that the one I typically see sitting outside the door of that house? But it wasn't. That one's down here. But hey, so I just wanted to. This is probably sounding crazy and crappy audio right now. But before I go over this bridge where it gets really bad, I'm going to wish everyone have a wonderful day. I will get back with you guys at my next pop-up. Bye-bye.